right, welcome back to our winter workshop. Today we're going to be talking about how to make a picture frame custom on day 15 of our Cadvent calendar. So stay tuned.
Ho, 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 ho!
All right, so today we are going to be doing day 15 of our Cadvent calendar. Today we are going to be doing, let me switch this over, our Christmas frame. So model a decorative Christmas frame. The constraints are there must be a two-part assembly. And don't worry about if you don't know how to do the assembly type stuff. Draw it up as if it were two separate parts. One part has to be the frame, then there has to be a part behind it that fits inside or behind the frame in some way, shape, or form in order to hold a picture. And we must have a clear, open center, and it must be freestanding. So I know personally, like I'm looking ahead, we have a bunch of Christmas cards and stuff, and I know we make a Christmas card every year, and we have a lot of pictures that we end up just putting places and we put in boxes, and I think it'd be really cool to have a way to show them off. And in a world of, where everything's digital and everybody's having digital picture frames and digital cameras and everything else, I think it'd be kind of cool to get back to the old days where we had some actual physical pictures, because there's just something special about them. So let's make some picture frames to be able to put those things in. So I think I'm going to get kind of crazy with mine. I'm going to draw it and I'm going to make it exactly symmetrical. So I think I'm going to just draw this upper right-hand quadrant, you guys see there, and then just go for it. So I'm going to start with the frame. So we'll come into our part studio right here, let it do its thing. While this is setting up, you guys might notice I'm in a little bit different of a setup today. We have some company over, and so I turned the Lego room into a guest room for the time being, or the Lego room / studio is now a guest room. So I'm out here in the kitchen, so that's what our setup looks a little different for today. So I'm going to start on the front plane. We'll go Shift and S for that front. I'm going to go N to normalize and P to hide those planes. I'm going to start with a rectangle, and I didn't give a size constraint on this one today, but I think a good rule of thumb is we'll try to go based off of a picture. So if we do an 8 by 10 as our picture frame size, I am going to actually extrude that a little bit, and I'm going to make it like, I don't know, 0.1, which is super thick for a picture, but you'll get the idea. That way we have a slot. So I'm just going to make this my picture, so I'll call part 1. We'll rename it picture. That way we just have a part that's just floating, and we can base everything around that. So I am now going to draw a new sketch on my top plane of my existing piece. So I'm going to draw a sketch on that face, and this is where the magic happens. So I'm going to do the offset tool, and I'm going to select my picture, and I'm going to offset by, we'll go 0.5, give ourselves a little bit of a frame there. And now I can shut off my picture, and you'll see I kind of have that transparent, or that like burned in mark of where the old picture was at. So now I'm going to draw another rectangle on the outside of this thing, and if it's 8 by 10, let's go 10 by 12. We'll go 2 inches bigger. And now I can start making my frame. So I know I said I wanted to do like patterns, so I'm gonna draw a construction line straight down to the bottom. We'll draw one across the middle so we can mirror some stuff over. And I'm gonna kind of just do my curly Q kind of swirl type thing that I've been doing. That looks kind of festive, I guess. And then we'll come over here. And we'll just try to make that more of a part like so. So there's that. It's gonna end up looking like a Grinch picture frame. We'll do another one. We'll add some circles here. Let's see what we got. If we were to rotate this around, just do it as a circle. I could do a mirror as well, but it's not going to like that. Yep, we are going to have to do a mirror. So we're going to do a mirror line here. I'm going to select all of that, flip it over. We're going to do mirror again, but I'm going to go over this side. We'll go there and there. And if we were to do a extrude, we'll go up 0.125, 1/8 of an inch. See, I'm starting to get some sort of, kind of looks like a Loki picture frame design going. So I think I'm gonna try to maybe not get so crazy with those. Yeah, I don't know if I'm in love with those wisps. Let's go ahead and it's kind of why I like these challenges too. It's the drawing as you go, just see what you can come up with. Let's see. Let's do. Let's go from here. Oh. We'll kind of go. Yeah, let's try that. Let's see what that does for us. We'll say those need to tangent. We'll tell that to tangent to there. Kind of pick that up a little bit. Yeah, let's see what we do. So we'll mirror those over that side, like so. Bring those together. And you know what? Yeah, I don't like any of those. Let's get rid of that. So we'll trim all that out. It's gonna look like a dog bone. We can go ahead and trim, trim, trim. We'll round these corners just a little bit. And now I can flip over my center line. And there. Now at this point, oh, go back to my extrude. I forgot one point there. So we'll mirror over here, that side, there we go. Moving too quick. So now we got ourselves a nice little like base frame. Now I could come in, draw another sketch on the top. And if I'm doing this on like a router table or something like that, I could engrave some of these lines in here. My laser, if I did a really deep cut, I could do that as well, but I want to do kind of an offset here. And what's cool is I can, since I have my piece, we'll go halfway. What the heck's going on? We'll offset to here. We'll select our whole piece like so. Doesn't like when I use that select all button because it's starting to pick the side there. There we go. Yeah, so just remember when you're doing this, you got to actually click just that top face of lines. And if you skip a piece, it's going to tell you you can only offset a single chain. And so we have our whole piece like so. And what I was thinking was if I went on the inside by like 0.75 and then shut my part off and then offset and then did that again by a couple of more times, then I could turn my planes back on. I could then draw a sketch on the top plane that uses those 2 points, and from those points I now can draw some patterns to pull out. But what we're going to want to do is 0.1, and I don't want it to go the full depth, so I'm going to line up like so, but I'm going to move it, transform, just a little bit. And then I'm going to copy, Control C, Control V. I'm going to copy from here, lined up with there like so. And then I'm going to draw a line, because basically all I'm doing is cutting a little channel, and I don't want this full circle, so now I can cut those out. And we can say okay. And now that I have those pieces, I can do a sweep, and it's going to ask me what I want to sweep, and that's where I'm going to come in and we'll shut sketch 3 off. There we go. Take these and the sweep path. Now we'll turn our sketch back on. Is going to be all of these pieces like so. So it's going to follow the outer ring, and We'll continue all the way around. And because I picked both faces, I don't have to do two separate sweeps. But what we're going to have to do here in a second is turn it from an add, or it's doing a new right now. We need to change it to a remove. So it'll actually cut away from our deal like so. There we go. So now if I turn part 2 back on and we say remove and merge with part 2, you'll see now we got some lines that are cut in just for some accent to give us a little bit of a deal there. So now as I'm looking at this on this frame, I don't really like these corners being sharp like that, so I'm going to come in with a fillet. I'm going to round all these just to give it a little bit of a like attention to detail, a little bit of craftsmanship, like we didn't just cut a hole with a jigsaw or something. Make it look a little more inviting. Let's give it like 0.75 of a round over. We'll say okay. Shut the sketches off. And that looks pretty good. So there's my front frame. Now how are we going to keep this picture in? So I turn this picture back on, you'll see there is my picture. Well, what am I going to do to get this to stay in place? So now I'm going to go to the bottom view, and this is where sometimes things can get a little tricky. I'm going to do a sketch on that bottom plane of my picture. Okay. And what I want to do is I'm just going to offset from my picture about 0.05, which is like hardly anything, but it gives you enough room to put that picture in. And we'll say okay, okay. And now at this point, this is when I start drawing the back. So now I'm going to offset from there about, yeah, we can do a 1/4 inch. That should be all right. And then I need to draw a line from here to here, and here to here. Shift and E is going to allow me to go to the side to extrude that thing. And let's go all the way up. We'll go 10.25. 10.25, there we go. Bigger than the picture. And we'll say okay. And this looks like something I'm going to have to like 3D print if I wanted to make this. So with that in mind now, since we're going to 3D print this thing, I know it's a little big, I am going to add some more stuff to the bottom. So we'll say, okay, we're going to merge with part 2, because part 2 is going to be our only picture, or part 1 is going to be our picture. Part 2 we merged with. And so now we're going to need to close that cap off so the picture doesn't fall through. We'll just do it with a simple rectangle command. We'll go all the way down here, and we'll extrude, and we're going to add it to merge with part 2, and we'll only go down about 1/8 of an inch, 0.125, just to kind of cap that piece there, give it a little bit of space at the bottom. And so now we have our picture inside of our frame. Now, how the heck is this thing going to stand up? Well, if we're going to make this as a 3D printed part, like I said, I think it'd be best to maybe make a stand for it. So you could 3D print this stand as well. You could almost do it foldable, but that's going to be a whole other video. So I'm going to go from here, from the right plane, and I'm literally just going to draw something for it to sit on. I know I said make it freestanding, but since it's part of the drawing, kind of what it lends itself to, I'm going to come up here, about there, And I think I want that to be at like a 95-degree angle, maybe like 92, not quite straight, but yeah, we'll go 94. Yeah, I like that better. 94. And then I can start playing with how big I want that lip to be. So maybe here I want to come up about 0.5. We'll move all these down, kind of drag to about there. And that's going to be to help us there. We'll come over. Now let's just do that as a thin feature. We'll do extrude. We'll do thin. We'll select all of this. It's going to be a new part. We're going to go the opposite direction. Symmetrical. I'm going to flip my thickness down. And I think it only needs to be about 0.25. Doesn't need to be super big. Yeah, there we go. We'll say okay. But I want that to be a new part. And now that I look at it, I think I want to go based off of this bottom piece right here for it to hold. So I'm going to go back to my sketch and just drag that guy down to be I'm going to use this piece here. I'm going to tell that to coincide with that point. That way we're holding it on those bottom pieces there. We'll say okay. And I know you're like, what the heck? It's not in the right spot. Well, it will be. Oh, let's fix that backside. Let's come out a little bit more. There we go. And we can make that a little taller. So we say okay. That's going to have to hit on there. And these are our two parts for an assembly. So from this point, now I would do a new sketch. And I'm going to kind of extend that foot out a little bit. And just kind of eyeball that guy. I'm going to do a fillet on this corner as well. Man, my internet's going slow. There we go. Shift E. We'll do solid from here up to next to face. There we go. And now we have ourselves a little stand. Now we would need two of these, so I would just print that thing out twice and kind of hold it. The best thing to do would be to merge these things and kind of make something like so. But if we pull this over into assembly, we'll go insert all of Part Studio 1. And if I insert another one of part number 3, we'll say okay. And if I move this over, move 4.44, and we move this over, negative 4.44. Maybe not that far. We'll go 3.8, and then this can go negative 3.8. We'll say okay. If we take our picture frame, our part 2, and our picture, and we come over here and we rotate this to 92. So it would be, no, we did 94. Let me check that real quick. .94. So we'd have to go 4 degrees. So if we select again, we select picture and part 2, and we rotate those this way. We go 4 degrees. That'll match that. And then I can tell it to sit like so. Move both of them together. We have that face that matches perfect, and those guys can sit right in there. So there is our little picture frame kind of mock-up. You have a slot up here on the top to be able to slide that picture in. That's overkill for a picture, but it ain't going anywhere. It'll sit and you'll have some room there. Personally, if I was going to do this again, I think I'd redo these kind of these legs. If you have a really big 3D printer, you could just take those legs. Man, my internet is slow today. And you can merge them together, do like a boolean, and make it be all one solid part other than the picture. But it's kind of up to you. That's the beauty of this series is do what you want, but fall within the lines and fall within the rules. So that's going to do it for us today. I know it's kind of long and drawn out. I think we are on about going on 28 minutes. So hopefully you guys learned something. I know that sweep tool is fairly cool to use if you've never done that before. And just play with it. Obviously you could throw text on here and you could customize kind of whatever you want, however you need. But start sharing your ideas if you have anything. I want to see what you guys have made so far with this Cadvent calendar. And if you're learning new skills or you made these projects and you've actually turned them into physical projects, not just CAD models, I want to see that too. So that's going to do it for us. Hope you guys have a good day. Take care.